We keep it real.
We keep it raw.
We keep it uncut.
All day.
We are
Marriage Takeover.
Kind of just see me sound real cringy right now.
Hey, I sound real cringy.
Okay, y'all are right. Hey.
Hey, it's your girl Tamika.
It's your boy E-Rock Nim.
We keep it real.
We keep it raw.
We keep it uncut.
All day.
We are
Marriage Takeover. What we do?
Welcome to Kitchen Conversations.
Marriage Takeover, where we help couples win in their marriage. We help you to break through your triggers and your generational cycles. Welcome to Kitchen Conversation. As I'm your boy, Chef E-Rock Nim.
Oh man. So how's everybody doing today? It's been a long day. Oh man. Still in work clothes. But how's everybody doing? Thank you so much for checking in. As you are checking in, let us know where you're checking in from.
Yeah. As you check in, let us know. So on the menu for this evening, we are doing spaghetti. We had a request last week about making spaghetti. So it was like, okay, we're going to make spaghetti. So if you made the request last week, show yourself.
Spaghetti.
So we got spaghetti. I'm going to show you what my daughter hooked up as well for tonight's dish. So I've already gotten started with getting the meat ready to go. So what I like to do, I like to drain my meat. Pause that. I like to drain the grease off the meat. And so as we get going, yeah.
You got one from Kentucky, another one from Philadelphia.
Kentucky, Philly in the house.
Someone else said hello from Virginia. Someone else
Virginia.
said pause.
From where?
I know, pause. I know. For real though, right?
Hey, welcome Kentucky, Philly, VA,
Detroit.
Detroit house. Yo, welcome.
Louisiana.
Louisiana in the house.
Pennsylvania.
PA in the house.
Yes.
That's what's up.
Love it.
So
welcome to Kitchen Conversations. We are here every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So welcome. Today we are going to be talking about just making
talking with me.
Conversations. Setting aside quality time to be able to communicate with your spouse, right? Or
quality and to be able to connect with your spouse.
Yes.
What?
So yes.
Washington D.C.
Oh,
DC in the
house. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Love it. So we're just gonna hit that conversation, that topic off. What are some of the things that you like to do just to set aside that quality time for you and your spouse?
Yeah, because if you follow us closely, there was a question that was asked, and we answered the question based off of how we set aside that time for us. I got the meat cooking low, so I got it simmering in the grease. Boom. So it kind of helped you out because of the fat. Anyway, but we sit down, we had that quality time so that we can, make sure that we connect with one another, because that time you'll be able to communicate with your spouse. You'll be able to have those intimate moments with your spouse. But when you have that busy life, that busy rigmarole, because look, everything's starting to open back up. Now a lot of people starting to go back to that normal flow. Right. So it's like, dang, what we built during the COVID time when we was home, all right, that might change. So it's like, now what have you put in place to spend that quality time?
Yes.
Someone said they're listening from Augusta, Georgia.
Augusta.
GA in the house.
Yes. Come on in the room. Appreciate it. Yeah, so what are you doing to be able to open up or to make sure that you don't get caught up in the busy wheel of life
and
again
lose that connection.
Right, and lose that connection. What are some of the things that you're doing to be able to do that?
Come on. I know it's a slight delay, but we with you.
Yeah, there is a slight delay. So y'all please don't get upset with us if we don't respond or get to your comment right away. I promise you, we coming. But yeah, there's a slight delay. So some of the things that we do, right? We set aside specific days for us to be able to just connect. There's a family day. We have a husband and wife day where we can get together, we can connect, and that is just our time to just unwind. So family day, nothing else comes in, in front of that unless we come together as a family and we decide, hey, this came up. What do you think about this? Can we do this? And if we do this, we all decide to do this as a family. We all have to agree as a family, and that's what we do for that family night. And then sometimes we'll also reconnect. Those are bell peppers.
Yes, those red peppers and green peppers, onions, and garlic. I've already have some because I've already cooked the meat because I ain't want to, be like, yo, why is it taking so long? But I've already cooked the meat. The seasoning I put in, I use, oh my goodness, I forgot my Italian seasoning. But I use, for those of you that's from that DMV, y'all know about that Old Bay. Boom. I put that in there, that paprika, that onion powder, that garlic powder, you know what I'm saying, that red pepper flakes. That's what I do to season my meat.
Ain't Old Bay a brand?
It is a brand.
Yeah, but it's used a lot in Maryland. So, but that's what I put in the meat, seasoned meat, got a little bit of black pepper in there. This is just how I do it. This is kind of a rush because normally I prepare my sauce the day before so it can go ahead and marinate and get in the meat. But since you request, I'm bringing it to you E-Rock style. You hear me? Chef E-Rock style. You hear me?
Chef E-Rock style. Okay. So, what was I saying? I was saying that we do family time. We all either come together and agree. And if we decide to come together and agree to do that thing together as a family, sometimes we'll also create another day so that we can just really unwind and be with our family.
Right. So
what are some of the different things that you put in place so that you can just make sure that you're staying in connection? Because when we don't, then we find that we're distant from one another. When you don't, we find that we are losing the connection that we have. And then that is also a loss of intimacy. That's a loss of sometimes effective communication as well. So what are some things that you do? Let us know. Drop it down in the chat.
Someone asked what you're cooking.
Oh, we bringing in that spaghetti. We cooking that spaghetti.
Somebody asked us for spaghetti last week, so we wanted to make sure that we put spaghetti on the menu this week.
We received a request last week, so I put spaghetti on it. Normally, I really hook that thing up. You feel me? Go ahead.
That's it. I was just waiting for the people to respond.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And so, but the one thing is, why is it so important? I know you kind of went down it, but I know you kind of mentioned it, but why is it important for couples to make that time together?
Because when you don't, somebody else will slide in the DMs. And when they slide in the DMs, because they might feel neglected, because they might feel, or even in a job spot, right? They might be able to slide in and give them the comfort that they're looking for, to give them the attention that they're looking for, to give them the what they're longing for, to fill that void. So it's important to make sure that you are communicating. So as you are talking with your spouse, as you're connecting with your spouse, that you're always being able to be there so that their tank is never empty.
That's it. Ooh, what do you mean when you say that? What do you mean when you say tank is never empty?
So that the tank is never empty. Y'all know how it is. Y'all know how when your tank is empty, your tank is low, you got this void. Somebody else slide up and they be like, ooh, you look good, or ooh, you so fine, or you so pretty. Hey, let me holler at you. It could turn into, let me just get you lunch, or you want me to grab lunch while I'm going to get lunch. Or it could be something as simple and subtle as that turns into something so much bigger because you got now this empty void that they're able to kind of be like, oh, I like the way that they treat me. I like the way it feels when they're talking to me. I like this. I like that. So when you have those different things that are coming in, guess what? It leaves room for somebody else to be able to slide in to meet a need because your tank is empty. So when your tank is empty, number one, you can't even pour out and give love and attention to somebody else. But then when your tank is empty, you are always looking to be able to have it filled.
And so And that's
It's like a bank account.
And so it's like because that empty tank is when it's not being full at home.
Right.
Based off of, because of all the coming and going, all of the bypassing. We don't set time aside just to have a conversation. Only time we set time aside is for when emergencies take place. But how about that? What about, your marriage is that emergency? We just stop by and just say, hey, how you doing? Now, real quick, for me, I like to use two, because like I said, it takes some time to make my own sauce. So I kind of had to do it today. But in doing it, I like to use a tomato basil. That's heavy with the tomato basil sauce. And I also like to use an Italian herb as well. Go ahead, honey.
So, yes.
Someone said, hey, from Florida.
Hey, from Florida. What part of Florida? Hey, Florida.
The Sunshine State.
I know.
That's where we from.
That's where we grew up. We grew up in Florida, so.
Also, you might need to repeat the question. I don't think about
Okay. So welcome. If you are just coming in, just tuning in, this is Kitchen Conversations with Eric and Tamika, Marriage Takeover. And we're here every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And all we're doing is we're just having a conversation while we're cooking in the kitchen. So the question is what do you do to make sure that you don't lose that connection with your spouse, right? Things are starting to open up.
Partially slim.
Things are starting to open up, now that COVID is, residing and it's going away. And so a lot of us really are tired of being in the house with our spouses, right? We're tired of being at home. We're tired of being on these online sessions.
Fresh basil.
We're just tired. So what are some of the things that you're going to do and put in place so that you don't lose that connection?
Yeah.
Yes.
They responded, they said Palmetto, Florida on the Gulf Coast.
Sweet. Love it.
I was in Palmetto one time.
Love it. Because it's important to do that. And so we have to be very careful now that everything is getting back to normal, that we don't lose that connection. We don't lose that sight with our spouse, because we want to, again, make sure, you want to try something new. Yes, you want to be spontaneous. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you don't lose that connection with your spouse because you've just been sick of being in the house with them forever. Right? So...
But that's the thing. That's how it is, because, even during that time, it's like, you kind of need that time to yourself. Now, what I'm using now, this is a tomato paste. I also put a paste in it because it thickens up that sauce a little bit. And so it also, I usually got the wrong tomatoes. And so when you look at that, with your spouse, because things are going, you've been in the house cooped up with them all the time, but you've been cooped up in the house with them, doing this whole time, working from home and that whole nine. So, but now, what does it look like now that everything is starting to run? Do you all still have those same time together? You know what I mean? When you did sit down and make sure and check on each other. So that's important. So when you have those busy lives, it comes down to what is priority.
What is priority? Yeah.
Because a lot of times we'll list our priorities, but then our behavior is different. It speaks something different. So it's like you gotta make sure that what you're saying matches up with what you're doing.
Good. How y'all feeling? Good. I see some comments.
Someone asked, they said, are you sure you're not Italian?
Say what?
Are you sure you're not Italian?
Let's say I have some Italian friends.
Oh man. So how y'all feeling? How is the weather out where you are? Are you enjoying just kind of where you are in your space? Yes.
Someone else said they're from Dover, Florida.
Dover, Florida. Sweet.
So, but yeah, come
on. Welcome.
Hey,
You might need to repeat your question.
So, repeat the question. Go ahead, repeat the question, babe.
What are you doing to make sure that you don't lose that connection with your spouse? What are you doing?
And so, tell me what is your best practice to make sure that you don't lose that connection with your spouse.
Right.
Because it's very important, because the one thing that you understand is that when you have, yes, I also like to use garlic. I like to use a lot of garlic in mine. But the one thing that you don't want to do is lose that connection, because the unity that you have in your marriage.
You need to put the bread in.
Yeah, I'm about to. The unity that you have in your marriage is like one of the most dominating forces that you can have. And so,
and once you have a bond, like, it's not easily broken. So you want to make sure that you're safeguarding it, that you're protecting it, that you are making sure that you don't lose it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got 2 North Carolinas, so they're from Kego Harbor, and they're asking what you're making, and 2 people responding to the question.
Sweet.
So
welcome. You said Kego Harbor and North Carolina. Welcome. And the responses to the questions?
taking walks together, talking to each other, and someone else said that they unwind together and they've been married for 20 years.
Sweet.
And someone else said they've been married for 30.
Sweet. Longevity in the house.
So for you that's been married for 30 and 20 years, so tell me, what was those main things where you was able to keep things connected with your spouse? Right. Especially when your times got, busy, because a lot of times is that a lot of us, we still have to work through certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we kind of miss certain stuff because sometimes we can get so locked on. And a lot of times, a lot of people don't really understand a lot of stuff that's literally on the man. Because, how we was kind of brought up, you know what I'm saying? We ain't supposed to cry. We got to always be tough all the time. But you know what I'm saying? When a lot of weight. So ladies, tell me, when do you recognize when you set that time aside? No, listen to me.
Okay.
Ladies, how do you begin to recognize that your husband has so much weight on him because of, how tough they are? You know what I mean? How do you recognize that? Because sometimes it's hard if we don't set aside that time to say, hey, how you doing? Let's check in with one another.
Okay, so your response to your first question, like, how do you keep, like, after being married for so long, how do you keep it, connected and stuff? They said listening, talking, and love.
Love it. Yes.
Effective communication and effective listening. Yes. You are so on it.
For the couple that's been married for 30 years, so we are coming up on our 24th year of marriage in May. What advice would you give other couples that are, still trying to get to that 30-year mark? What advice would you give them to make sure that they're still keeping their marriage lively so that it doesn't get stale?
The other couple responded. They said enjoying touch without touch.
There it is.
Ooh, yes.
There
I love it. I love it, love it, love it.
There it is. Enjoying touch without touch.
Enjoying the touch without touch.
I
love it.
That's what you call a connection.
Right.
Now, see, I also like to make mine a little hot. A little spicy. So this is, I like to put a habanero hot sauce in it as well. It's all red. Because the pepper, the hot pepper flakes, they like it hot right here. So this is what I can bear.
We like it spicy.
And someone else said congratulations.
Thank you. I love that touch with no touch because that is true intimacy.
Yeah, that is
true intimacy.
So, and that's the thing, because it does. My thing is, if you might be that couple where your intimacy is not where you really want it to be. But guess what, though? All you got to do is just now be willing to practice that thing. When I'm talking about practicing.
It's being intentional.
And lowering those walls. And like you said, being intentional with doing it over and over, getting close. You know what I'm saying? Laying down your guards, feeling that trust
and
in
being vulnerable with one another.
Yes.
I think this was a response you asked the advice they give.
Yes.
They said listen, talk, and sacrifice.
Ooh, I love that. Listen, talk, and sacrifice.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Ooh, I love that. Thank you so much for that.
So, hey, what you just said, listen, talk, and sacrifice. The one thing that I come to recognize about couples, we forget where we get married at.
Yeah.
It does not matter. Every marriage have happened at the altar. Period. What happens at the altar? Sacrifice.
Or a courthouse.
They still call it an altar.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, you get married at the courthouse, you get married at the bar, you get married in the backyard, you get married on on the beach, you can get married on the plane, you get married on the boat, but they still call it the altar.
Right.
So you have to understand first and foremost in your marriage, you got to sacrifice.
Right, because in a marriage, it has to be selfless.
Yeah.
Like it has to be. Sometimes I hear people say that marriage is 50-50. Marriage is not 50-50.
It's not 50-50.
And whoever tell you that, that's a lie.
They lie.
It's not 50-50. And you give and take sometimes more than sometimes you receive.
Yeah.
So it really is about sacrificing, but both should be able to sacrifice at some level, at some point, and at some time in order for the marriage to continue to remain alive, steady, and thriving.
So I'm gonna set this right here while I finish dressing this. This is what my daughter put together. She put I'm sorry, baby. She hooked it up. So the one thing, if you don't have any what you call it, the little breadstick joints,
baguette bread or
the breadstick joints, go grab your hot dog buns. This is a brioche hot dog bun, laid out, ready to go, and it is and it's garlic bread.
And we used the garlic butter we made last Thursday on live.
Right. So you remember last Thursday, for those that returning, we made it. I showed you how to make the
garlic butter.
So boom. And so now we take that and we sprinkle that cheese on there. So we get that cheese garlic bread. I don't know about you, but we like that cheese garlic bread. Yes, and this is mozzarella. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Someone said beautiful, strong couple. Someone else said picking your battles with your spouse.
Ooh, good.
And I think someone misunderstood when y'all said sacrifice. So if you guys could elaborate on that. Someone said sacrifice is a death offering, where I think really you guys meant sacrificing different things for your marriage.
Well, hold on, wait a minute. But when you look at it, when you saying that sacrifice is a death, because you do have to die to your want for the better need.
You're really dying to yourself. You're killing off that flesh. You're killing off the things that would want you to desire, because us as humans in and of ourselves, we are self-seeking.
We're self-absorbed. Yeah.
We're self-absorbed. So when it says sacrifice, it's gonna feel like you have to you die a slow death, because there are things that you have to give up.
And understand when she's saying giving up, meaning that there are some things that you ain't, like you say, if you go hang out with your boys all the time, or you go hang out with your girls all the time. Well, when you married, some of that got to get cut back a little bit. Why? Because if I'm always with the fellas, how am I gonna know how she feels? So I'm gonna have to sacrifice your dogs. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Why? Because this is the time that we set aside.
Right.
You feel me?
Right. And it's sacrificing in a space of love. It's sacrificing because I love you so much, because I am in love with you so much. I want to make sure that I'm giving you all of me.
All of me.
So in order to be able to give you
love
all of you.
Love your
curves, all your flesh.
Okay. Stop. Y'all sound like broken records with lines going through it. So it's really about you truly loving your spouse, and you're saying, I'm going to give you all of me, because I really want us to be able to work. But in order to do that, then both parties have to do that, because what happens is if you're always sacrificing and your spouse isn't sacrificing, then you get tired.
Then I don't get one-sided. It's like, come on, dog.
Right, yeah.
So y'all got a question? How can you tell when something is meant to be versus something is just forced or not working?
Ooh, good question.
Something that is meant to be, guess what? That joint, it fits like a glove.
Yeah.
Because understand this.
Come in the screen a little
I'm sorry. Because understand this. It fits like a glove. There's a million gloves out there, but only one is going to give you that perfect fit.
Yeah.
When back in my day when I played ball, my wife should tell you I had gloves galore. Gloves galore. But it was only one glove that fit me perfect. And it was like, oh, you meant to be mine. When we got together, I ain't gonna lie, man, it was like we was fussing like cats and dogs. But it was just like, it was something. See, I know some of y'all, you know what I'm saying?
But we wasn't fussing like cats and dogs when we first got
No, I'm talking about in our dating phase.
Right.
See, you got to kind of, you'll know, you know what I mean? Because our story it may not be like someone else's story.
And it wasn't forced.
Right.
It we enjoyed being around each other. We
Boom.
enjoyed lifting each other up. Like we could see, because then like he was saving in the church, but I really wasn't. So we didn't really know that God was putting us together. But when you don't know that, it's just like it fit. Like it was just
perfect. It
wasn't forced. I can say that it was not forced. And he gave up and sacrificed for me as I did for him before we even got married.
Right.
So there were some things that we decided that we were going to do together because we said this is what we believe that, you know, we're supposed to be together. This is it. So it was almost like that.
It's that perfect fit, that glove.
It really was like a perfect fit. And it really wasn't forced. It was like that unctioning. You know how sometimes they could say you in love or you in lust? Like, you know the difference because, so let me ask you this question. One of the questions that somebody had asked Eric before we got married. If, for whatever reason, you were with this person and you got together, you got married, and they were...
Something happened
and they were disabled or they weren't able to perform, have sex. They were paralyzed. Something happened to where they weren't able to do something. Would you still want to be with them? Would you still love them? Would you then be able to take care of them? Would you still desire them? That's kind of how you know. Right? So I hope that helps you to kind of think about it because some people are just in it for lust. And so if it's just lust and you just want to have sex all the time, you can think of a million different ways that you could think about having sex. And if they can't, if it don't come up, guess what? What you gonna do?
And
where are you gonna go?
Yeah.
But will you still love them and take care of them and cherish them and honor them
if
they are incapacitated, if they're paralyzed, if they are not able to really provide you with the life that you thought they were gonna provide you with? Yes.
So, see, these comments happened a while ago. I'm still gonna say them. Someone said that then their wife felt the same way that they put their marriage into God.
There it is.
Someone else said like your thoughts. No one seems to get that. And someone else said that they like the African style marriages where women collect firewood.
Okay.
And someone said you have to wash feet in marriage. You have to get down and decrease. Jesus washed.
Yes.
And someone else said hi. How you doing?
How you doing? I love that.
And that's
I have to learn more about the woman collecting the firewood.
Well, what you mean you gotta learn more?
In the African culture, because I've never heard of that before, but I love it. Like I don't know more about it, but I would love. I gotta study that. I need to know what that's about. But I love it. I love all the different things that are coming in because it shows a sacrifice. It shows a vulnerability. It shows. Sorry. More comments.
Someone else said that there's a very good point there. Like, well, you still want to be with me if I couldn't perform.
Yeah. That's your boy, E-Rock. And we're going to hit it with just a little bass on top. Boom. How you like that? See that sting still coming off there? Boom. I'm just going to lay it out right there. Go ahead and finish the conversation.
Right. So no, I hope that answers your question. I see more comments are coming in.
But I think they meant to say if it's real love with someone, it shouldn't matter.
That's right. That's the whole point. If it's real love, none of that should matter. So if you are with somebody, you're trying to determine whether or not it's, forced or if it's really meant to be, then ask yourself that question, because if you can answer that question and say, I would or I could, then that's when you know that that's the person that you're supposed to be with, because real love, it really doesn't matter.
Not necessarily, but it's also that same fitting like a glove.
Yeah, fitting like a glove. You're absolutely right. So all of that. So we said all of that to say that if you could go through that process, it fits like a glove, it's not forced, that you really can cherish and honor and serve that person without anything else, that any other objections, any other things, that's real love. And that's how you know. That's how you know.
Boom.
So we're done with dinner for tonight.
One second.
Yes.
Someone asked what y'all cook. What y'all cook for dinner?
Oh, we got spaghetti. So somebody mentioned spaghetti last week while we were on Kitchen Conversations. So this week is in honor of them. I hope they showed up. This week is in honor of them. This is Kitchen Conversations. So what should we have on the menu next week?
Hey, go ahead, put it in real quick. What you want to see us cook? We're doing our conversation next week, because our conversation next week is going to really be on point. So listen, if you follow us all things at Marriage Takeover. Yes. Join our Facebook group, Marriage Takeover, the Body of One, because we have some things coming up as well. and we actually go a lot deeper with this time. And a book that we wrote. It's a bestseller too. So log on to www.marriagetakeover.com. Go to products and grab your book. It is called Know Your Role in Your Marriage. Check it out. I'm trying to tell you, you're gonna like it. And I'm telling follow us on all of those platforms.
Yes. I still see some other comments coming in, and I just want to make sure we're able to hit it before we get ready to close out to have dinner. But thank you guys so much for tuning in this Thursday for Kitchen Conversations. What are some of the other comments or things coming in? Was there any other questions?
So they said, hello, Mr. Mrs. I think it might say prayer. Well, no, Mr. and Mrs. Pryor, may I help you soon? The mother of the children, Daniel B.
Okay. All
right.
They said surf and turf next week.
Surf and turf.
Said that I'll check you guys out. Yeah.
Okay,
sweet.
Surf and turf next week.
Make sure you're here.
Hey, I'm gonna give you. Hey, you gotta. Hey, I need you to show up.
Someone else said lamb chops.
Ooh, lamb chops.
You know what? I tell you what. All right. I'm not. We're gonna take the boat, but I'm gonna do a surf and turf with lamb chops. Boom.
Yes. Sweet.
Hey, y'all might be upset when I cut that joint for you though, because y'all like, dang, I want some of that.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's your girl Tamika.
It's your boy Chef E-Rock now.
Man, this is Marriage Takeover, and we're signing out. See you next week.
Mahalo. Yo, we is climbing, yo.